Good afternoon and welcome to Shanghai in China. Traditional Chinese dragon dancers on the grid in bright, clear sunshine as we are ready for rounds 19 and 20 of the FIA World Touring Car Championship. Well, good morning, everybody. Wherever you're watching, good afternoon, good evening. Martin Haven alongside me, James Nash, ready for the start of the first of our two races. James, after a slightly topsy-turvy qualifying, we still have our world champion starting from pole position. Jose Maria Lopez went to the draw of special qualifying laps and found it still not empty this season.
Yeah, a delayed start, so it's been an extra tough morning for these drivers. But yeah, he pulled something out the bag, but shows how close it is and how tough it still is. Only a tenth between them.
Well, no morning warm-up anymore in World Touring Car Championship, so to keep the drivers entertained this morning, they had qualifying instead. If you haven't caught up with the news, yesterday, Asian GT race, a crash with a McLaren near the end of the race in the barriers just at the end of the pit lane. Did quite severe damage to the barriers. It was going to take a few hours to sort out, and there wasn't time to get World Touring Cars qualified on Saturday afternoon when they should have been, so they moved it to Sunday morning instead. So the drivers up a little early, most of them. Tom Chilton's alarm didn't go off, so he was rung by the hotel 40 minutes before qualifying was due to start, a 25-minute drive away from the track. However, he did manage to get into the car at the beginning qualifying, so no real harm done. However, Ma Qinghua, who was the fastest man in all other time sessions, lost out in the death to Jose Maria Lopez for pole. He starts in second. Nick Katzberg in the Lada in third place, a surprise to him as well as to everybody else, ahead of Sebastian Loeb and Ivan Muller. And then Rob Huff in sixth position, ahead of John Philippi, seventh place, his best qualifying bar none, his first time into Q2. And he is the top Yokohama independent driver on the grid. Tom Coronel ninth and Hugo Vallant in 10th place. Vallant will start race 2 on pole position. And from there on down, Mehdi Benani, Nicolas Lapierre and the rest. From 11th on down, that's where they will start both races. So disappointment for Chilton, for Mikulits and Montero, all missing out on going through into Q2 at the very minimum. And it's become a little bit of a factor in qualifying over the last few races, particularly that some big name or their team will fumble the timings and just not quite get things right. Well, we're going to take a look around the circuit now with Rob Huff, give you an idea how to get around this Shanghai circuit.
Into turn one, just pull 6. Hard on the brakes, very tricky with a bit of oversteer. Into turn one, changing down the gears as you go through. Bit of a balance, brake again. Bit of oversteer all the way through here, just teetering on the edge of grip. Hard on the power brake again. Bit of a slide into 2, hard on the power. Lot of wheel spin on the exit. Through the chicane, big jump over the curb. There's 1. On the power, big traction on the exit there. Up to 4th, braking into 3rd gear again, bit of oversteer on the way in, car moving around a lot at the moment on this track, still quite slippery, high tyre wear, that proves for some difficult driving. Onto the exit curve, short little straight then, up to a tight left-right complex, up to 5th, hard on the brakes, trying to lock it up, 3rd, 2nd, cross the curb, apex back to the right. The understeer, teammate Katzberg in front of me, try and get a bit of a slipstream down the back straight from him, up to 4th, out to the right, left hand side, Nicky's gone to the right, yeah, he knows I'm here, long back straight now then, up to 6th gear, hardest brake zone on the track coming up, braking on about the 150, 140 mark, very easy to lock up, hard on the brakes. car dancing around a lot down to first gear. Across the apex then, on the power, a little bit of a slide oversteer on the apex. Hard to get on the power, up to fourth. Hard on the brakes, down to third, bit of a lock up into the last corner across the apex. Survived that one pretty well. Up to fourth, up to fifth, and across the line.
It's a bit busy old lap, James Nash, and a short one as well.
Yeah, he did a great job to commentate. It must be really hard to do that and talk the whole way through it.
Larder wheel spin there, little slip of the tongue, but they do have a little bit of a traction problem with the cars here in Shanghai. Hugo Vallant in the Chevrolet, or rather not in the Chevrolet, in the sunshine, taking or letting photos be taken. Down there on the grid, he starts in 10th place. 9th place on the grid, Tom Coronel, so he'll be on the front row for race 2, and he will try and turn the disappointment of Japan around. Japan, his second home, spent 5 very happy and very successful years racing there early in his career. I was going to say when he had more hair, not strictly true, but very, very disappointed last weekend. It all just kind of went to hell in a handcart for Tom Coronel, and the weekend couldn't have been much worse. So he'll be looking to try and compensate for that here. Gabriele Tarquini also had a bit of a shocker in Japan. Didn't manage to get the car into Q2. They just completely fluffed the timing. And so Gabriele was relegated to sort of sitting and watching from the midfield. He'll start in 8th place. 7th place, ahead of his teammate Hugo Vallant, is the other Campos Racing Chevrolet. And this is John Philippe, the young Frenchman. Now, we don't see a lot of him at this sharp end of the grid. However, he really did produce the goods in qualifying, got a really good lap together and helped to tow around his teammate Tom Coronel. So it all just fell into place really well for the young Frenchman.
They did a great job, and you could really see the two working together.
Down here with the fastest Chevy on the track. Jean-Philippe, you are P7 here, you're P4 in race 2. That's the highest up you have been, WTCC. What's the pressure and what is your strategy?
Oh, the pressure is we have a lot of good drivers around me. So I must to give all the best of me, and let's see.
Okay. Best of luck.
Very disappointed there, Alex Legui. I thought we were going for an all-French interview there. However, since she couldn't order a beer from him, I'm not quite sure that her French would have stretched very much further. Rob Huff starting in 6th position on the grid, so 2 larders in the top half dozen. And normally you'd expect if somebody was going to make it through into Q3, Huffy might be your most likely candidate, but he is not the best placed larder on the grid. However, despite the huge long straight here and 14 corners, some of which are very tough indeed for tyre grip, Larder is performing better and better. And part of this possibly is on the long flyaway races. There is more time to be thinking back at base because you're not constantly rushing to and from races. I mean, being in the championship in Europe, you know, racing every other weekend doesn't really leave the team an awful lot of time for anything else, James.
No, not at all. And we thought the Citroens would sweep up in Sector 3, but actually it was the Larder that was quickest with Katzberg, and it's a phenomenal job because it's a massive long straight, and that's one area we thought they might struggle not just on engine power, but with the aero package that they've got. But it's working very well, and Katzberg proved that.
Citroen have been working hard over the summer. You can see brand new fans on the front of the grille blowing air through to keep everything cool. The underbonnet temperatures when they get to the grid are really quite severe because of course the turbo is just as hot on a formation lap as it is at any other time. And you'll notice as well when we look at the front of Ma and Lopez car that not only have they got a much bigger fan on the front, the fan's also got a little flag on the front of it that the driver can see, so that he knows that it hasn't been removed by the team and he's not to leave the pit lane until it is. And it's after the race in Portugal in Villarreal when I think it was Ivan Muller left the pit lane with the cooling fan still attached. You see all sorts of air blowers and so on these cars, not just keeping the driver cool, but also especially trying to keep the under-bonnet temperatures down, because with the turbocharged engines, that is a major issue in terms of heating. Here is Nicky Katzberg, and foil on the windscreen to stop the sun heating him up too much, and also the blower there trying to just put a little bit of cool air through. Francois Ribeiro on the right, the man who is organising the World Touring Car Championship. And here are our two front row starters. Hometown hero, Ma Qinghua. And he was saying after qualifying, maybe just gave a little bit too much information to his rivals, for which read teammates, by setting the pace in all the time sessions before qualifying. And then in qualifying, as we talked about a little bit earlier, Jose Maria Lopez went to his special secret locker in the Citroën garage and pulled out an absolutely astonishing lap. Ma, by all the performances we'd seen so far this weekend, probably was expecting to be on pole position. See him quite sure what's being sprayed on there, just a little bit of cooling water presumably, but
some type of ice spray now that you can spray on. It just keeps the when water touches it, so you sweat, then it just cools you back down. So
oh right, so it's like that dry shampoo stuff you get in a can. Yeah. That your girlfriend uses when she hasn't had time to wash her hair and doesn't want it to look like a chip pan. Ask your father what a chip pan is. So yes, Ma on the outside of the front row of the grid, and as the grid is cleared, that leaves us with just one man. There's the enormous cooling fan system thingy, and as you can see, little wavy flag on the front, and they're colour coordinated to the driver's mirrors, so the team know which car to put it on, even if it doesn't have a name on. Jose Maria Lopez on pole position, his 5th of the season. It's now his 12th World Touring Car Championship pole. And this is only his 2nd season. Of course, there is only one opportunity for a pole a weekend, because the reverse pole for race 2 doesn't count. He's been on the front row in race 2, I think just once, and that was his first ever weekend in Argentina a couple of seasons ago. Grid being cleared here in Shanghai in China, just about to be given the 1-minute board for round 19 of the World Touring Car Championship. The grandstands were fairly empty yesterday, but are buzzing today. And Chinese motorsport is growing in popularity. The race is now being shown live in China on QQ.com. The Chinese TV model is very different from what we would traditionally have seen in the West. Online is as big a presence, in fact a bigger presence, than traditional through-the-air broadcasting. It's a fairly major coup for the championship to have online coverage from one of China's biggest suppliers, and the man who's on the front row closest to us, Ma Qinghua, has got to be responsible for a great part of that interest. Like with any sport, James, having a home driver or a home athlete involved always tends to focus the media attention a little bit more. Yeah,
a local hero is always good for the event and for TV coverage, and yeah, he's certainly brought out some of these people here. Chinese holiday, I think, as well tomorrow, so I think they're all having a long weekend at the racing.
Very good. So Nick Katzberg now getting his starting procedure sorted out. Car is in gear and using a little manual lever on the handbrake so that he can use the accelerator and clutch together. Jose Maria Lopez a little slow away. Ma went off like it was the start of the actual race. Completely scalded cat departure. Part of that is that he's rehearsed the procedure he wants to use at the start. Part of that perhaps will be that he's left a little bit of rubber on his grid spot as well that he'll try and line up on. Because we always used to think that the tyre had to be touching the road to give grip. In fact, it gives better grip if it's on a nice layer of rubber. So coming round the Shanghai circuit for the final time before the racing gets underway. And those tight first few corners, I mean, The first sector is all twisting and turning, and then the track starts to really speed up notably when you get the quick stuff.
I think it'll be nice to see the start turn 1, 2 and 3. Like you say, it gets really tight, and it's going to be a big challenge for them to get through there on hung. Normally we see something ending up in T4, so it's the chicane with the tyre stacks. Be difficult for them. There is runoff, but hopefully we'll see everybody get through and a bit of bumping.
Little short chicane, little short straight there, down to turn 11, which is a tight left-hander, and then a long loop that basically takes you out to your left and then all the way round to the main straight, which was on your right as you came down that short straight. That's ably demonstrated by our world champion out of turn 13. And this long straight is going to be very entertaining in terms of overtaking, who can pick up a slipstream well, who can draft by the others.
Sorry, just woke up. Just going down the world's longest straight. It's about 1.1 kilometres long. You can see I'm doing what all racing drivers do for the start of the race, really concentrating on warming up my tyres and also my brakes. I have definitely the best view on the grid. I'm going to see a lot in front of me.
Yeah, you can see a lot in front of him. Possibly not all of it good for other drivers. However, anything that happens in front of Tom Chilton may benefit him. As he said, he starts a little bit further back. And the just woke up reference there, of course, to missing the alarm yesterday. His alarm didn't work, didn't wake him up. However, he is on the grid, as is everybody else, as we get ready to race here in China. Jinhua Ma getting ready for the start, adjusting all the settings on the steering as he sets the car ready for race 19 of the World Touring Car Championship here in China. He starts on the outside front row of the grid to your left. On the right, as you look at Jose Maria Lopez, the pole man, the grid is set and we are ready to go racing here in China. Red lights on the cars. Green flag flies, and now we're into the final start procedure. 5 red lights are on, and away we go. Very short change, slow getaway, very slow getaway from Katzberg, but not as slow as Vallant or Ma, both of whom failed to move at all. Lopez weaves a couple of times across the track, Muller and Loeb, and then Tarquini with Huff inside him, and Vallant, well, at least there's no damage to his car in the first turn, because race 2's what counts for him. Tom Chilton, however, got involved in somebody else's incident. Coronel has been damaged, Montero's been damaged. Facing the wrong way, Thiago Montero, that's John Philippi, I think, as well, facing the wrong way. Mehdi Benani was there, and Huff's car, broken left rear track, and that was after that contact when it was his nose that was inside Tarquini. So carnage. Are we going to see the safety car out? Well, whatever we're going to see, Huff won't be part of it for long. We are going to see the safety car out. So there was some fairly severe biffing going on in the middle of the pack there.
Yeah, we saw them go into turn 2 with a bit of bumping, but must have all happened in turn 3 where we couldn't see. Shame for Coronel, because he's got to get that car back. Hopefully they take it back to pits for them to try and repair, ready for race 2.
Well, unfortunately, it's not going to be an easy job. You can see the suspension tower has been torn out of the body. I think he might be done for the day. That's not going to fix easily, is it? And I'm afraid Roberto Ravaglia has not chosen a good race to come to the races at Roal. There's debris everywhere. Safety car's going to be out for at least a couple of laps. Huffy, again, race 2 will now have to be his focus, because he won't be back out in race 1. If he is, it'll just be for a little bit of a circumspect lap. Ma right down there at the back, behind de Moustier and Daste. Couldn't be worse for the Chinese driver. Could be, he could be in Coronel's position, but Chilton coming in with damage. Thought Benani looked like he was involved, but in fact his car seems to be okay.
It's a Citroen.
Yes, yes, built tough. Katzberg in 4th place despite that shocking start, and Chilton is into the pits, as you would expect. Now, the issue for our crew on site is that we have a Chinese TV crew, Chinese tape operators and a Chinese director, all of whom speak, you guessed it, Chinese. So we now have to try and work through the language barrier to find the replays, as well as get the live shots to you. It's not necessarily the work of a moment. They are experienced in doing what they do. The universal hand across the throat there from the team. That's it, race one is over from Tom.
So he had a good view from the back, but not good enough to miss the carnage going on in front of him, unfortunately.
Well, it can go one of two ways, can't it? They can already be out sweeping it up by the time you get to the accident in the first couple of corners, or the accident can come to you. And for Coronel and for Chilton and for Tarquini, the accident came to them. Well, Gabrielli, he had that little bump with Rob, didn't he, in the first corner? Okay, so here we go. Disastrous start for Ma, shocker for Valence, really dreadful for Katzberg as well. John Philippi, where did he come from? Okay, so Huff's yellow larder, watch him inside Tarquini. Now Philippi, is there contact there? No, so behind Chilton, watch the green, the red and black car. Okay, so Coronel gets into the back of, well, Philippi's turned around. Where's Coronel's damage?
Coronel turned Filippi round, which...
Tarquini did hit Huff. Tarquini did break Huff's larder. That's why Tarquini's backing, so it looks like his car's not that fixed either. We're too far back here. Norby on the left. Filippi gets turned around, and it's contact with Filippi's car as he is being spun. That breaks Coronel's car comprehensively.
From my view, it looks more like Coronel was the instigator of his own accident as well.
I don't know, because he was getting shunted from behind by Bernani, and Coronel was into the back of Bernani's car as well. Maybe it was because everybody was trying to avoid the slow Huff and Tarquini. When everybody's jinking for position, that's often when cars hit each other. Okay, so here we go. We're on board with Tom Chilton, looking in front. Filippi goes around the nose of Coronel and Bernani. And I think it's, yeah, Filippi's trying to come over from the outside and come back in, and may not have judged the distance to Coronel. Coronel is then getting hit from behind by Bernani.
Yeah, maybe it was Bernani hitting Coronel that was the push round for Filippi.
Standing here with Rob Huff. Rob, looking at the TV pictures there, what on earth happened with you and Gabrielli?
I don't know. I can't seem to see or find out what's happened, but all I know is that Tarquini was hitting me and hitting me and hitting me, and yeah, he just kept pushing and pushing and pushing until he broke both of our cars. So that was quite clever. I don't know whether he was being pushed from behind, but when I looked in my mirror when he was in the side of me, there was no one there, so I can only assume it was him on his own.
And these days you can't be touching like this in touring cars, they're too fragile, the cars.
We've both been in this championship for 11 years. You would have thought you might have learned by now.
Well, I imagine down at the Castrol Honda garage there'll be a very different view of that. However, it was ever thus. I think Filippi on the outside trying to find a way back onto the racing line, and Coronel on the inside trying to find a way out of trouble. See, watch the hands. Yeah, Filippi comes over on the nose of Coronel's car. That's always going to spin him, and I think that's why Filippi ended up facing the wrong way. And then, yeah, Tom trying to get out of it. Bernani behind him, the whole train behind, pushing him on into that accident.
An absolute disastrous start for this gentleman here. Tom, talk us through it. What happened?
Well, it was not a disastrous start, it was a super start. But somehow I got in a lot of trouble. Tarquini ran wide in the first corner, Filippi ran wide, so I was on the inside. Filippi came to the inside, so I braked, big time even. I think also somebody hit me in the back. And then I touched very gently to Filippi, and then Filippi hit me back again on my right rear. And I was on 3 wheels.
Damage to your car?
Yeah, big damage, really big. I had a super start, everything feeling great. Car was feeling great. Mamma mia. Not good, not good.
Thanks, Tom.
That was a tough break for everybody. And as ever, tends to be 2 into 1 doesn't go. Well, they're doing quite a good job of further damaging the Royal Motorsport car here. Dragging the wreckage away over itself. And they see Philippi. I genuinely think Philippi had misjudged where Coronel was and thought it was okay. He was going to find room when he came back in to his right. And then, unfortunately, as Tom says, it was a little touch with Philippi. Philippi spun. Coronel very nearly got away with that. But he was being pushed from behind by basically the whole of the rest of the queue as they all checked up into the back of him and each other. And that's where some of the other damage has come from as well.
So this is good news for Norby's independent championship with Chilton out. That will extend his lead further.
Tarquini in the pits. And De Bracilaire from the Honda team on the left-hand side. Well, let's hear from Gabrielli about his incident with Coronel.
Well, we just spoke to Rob Huff, and he had contact with Gabriele Tarquini. Gabrielli, Rob says he doesn't understand why you just kept hitting him.
No, I didn't. I mean, the suspension broke because we was side by side. Maybe I was a little bit too aggressive on the change of direction because I come from outside. But I mean, it's, the suspension broke because we was side by side, not because I push him.
How frustrating is it now that after 11 years in touring cars, the cars are so fragile when you touch?
No, I mean, it's fragile like before. I mean, it's not, the suspension is more or less fragile like the TC2 or the old ETCC. Is not, aerodynamics is different, but it's not the aerodynamics part.
A frustration for you because you had a good starting position for Honda.
Yeah, I mean, I took a really good start despite the car in front of me in my line was stopped in the grid. It was very dangerous, but I saw in the very last minute, so I went completely outside, but I took a really good start.
Congratulations, hope we can get to see you in race 2.
Okay, thank you.
Well, that's a new one on me. I didn't realise that cars broke by being side by side. Bit fell off somebody's car. Was that off the back of the Lada that we saw damaged of Katzberg? Safety car has added 2 laps to the race distance. That's the maximum we can add.
We can for Royal Motorsport because we've got this gentleman here as well. Tom, from your opinion, what happened?
Well, got a great start, did a couple of cars off the line, up the inside as anyone does, and we're 2 by 2 around that corner because people try and get the outside of the inside of the next corner, and I couldn't see anything. All I know, it was within a thousandth of a second of red lights coming up. Everyone was sideways, locked up. There was a big crash in front, which I had to avoid. They spun Felipe and the other Chevrolet. I just managed to miss him, but the contact from behind with Banani has damaged my front end so severely. I've got no water, my radiator or no oil in my oil coolant. So it's too much effort. It's not too much effort. It takes too much time to replace for race 2, which is very frustrating because I think we had a very good car for the race.
Really disappointing, actually.
So Royal Motorsport will now start packing the cars away, or at least fixing them, ready to be packed away for air freight to the final 2 race weekends in Thailand. November the 1st, we'll be racing at the track at Buriram, and then off to Qatar at the end of the month. So a very low-key day, I'm afraid, for Royal Motorsport.
I wonder if Tom's wishing his alarm didn't ever go off and he never got that wake-up call.
Yes, it's all right. It's a horrid bad dream, and when I wake up, it'll be time to go off and do qualifying. Unfortunately, not so. So Lopez with Muller behind him and Loeb third. That's your top 3 in the championship, your top 3 in the race. Katzberg, Banani and Nico Lapierre. And there is Rob Huff's car. Well, bit of gaffer on the door. My famous quote, if you can't fix it with gaffer and a hammer, it really is broken. So it's obviously not that broken, but it's that left rear suspension that they'll be worrying about. And Gabrielli's presumably right suspension, although he didn't tell us what did break on the car when he was only running side by side with Rob.
Just fed up while he was running side by side.
Yeah. At least he hasn't got a GP2 engine. Oops! On board with Hugo Vallant. And how much has he dodged the bullet on that one? You know, carnage going on around. All right, he's last. However, no marks, no scuffs on his car, and he will start race 2 on pole position. And I'm assuming on his own, because Coronel.
Did I see the safety car lights out?
Well, we should have seen him all the way down the straight. So here we go. We are going green again.
It was a late call by a safety car.
Shouldn't have been. Lights should have been out as they came onto the straight. Should have been out at the end of sector 2. So that was a handling error there somewhere. Lopez from Muller and Loeb, Katzberg, then red, white and green Bernani, and then the other yellow car, which is Nico Lapierre. Behind him, Norbert Mikulich in 7th position. Will be the second of the Yokohama independents, because the lead independent at the moment is Bernani. That's good news for the Moroccan driver. He's trying to chase him down. Chilton second in the Yokohama Trophy behind Norby, but Bernani is in 3rd place, just 3 points behind Chilton. There will be a change there. So 6 laps in, Jose Maria Lopez now gets the race underway properly. Lopez down the back straight, sort of back straight, not the longest one, but on board with Nick Katzberg in 4th place.
Hopefully we'll get to down bottom as we cut away.
Not
I
a
just wanted to see straight line speeders. They were really quick in sector 3.
Yes, they were, weren't they? And Katzberg very quick. He was almost the quickest of all in sector 3. This long straight, basically, from here is sector 3 all the way to the end of the lap. And he's sort of slipstream now from the 3 Citroens in front. The question is, does he feel confident enough? He is closing in. He's just been hoovered up a tiny bit. Does he feel confident enough to try outbraking Sebastian Loeb? Huff and Tarquini having a conversation as there is a race going on elsewhere. Apparently. Oh yes, there is. They haven't stopped it yet. Genuine affection between the drivers. However, there is actually a race going on as well, so we'll try and cover that for you. Bernani didn't gain any ground on Katzberg. It's hard to imagine how Nicky Katzberg is going to get among the 3 Citroens and still survive.
Be interesting to see what ground Mark can make up after his poor start or non-start.
Yes. Well, again, at least he didn't get caught up in the carnage. Up the inside comes Vallant, goes by Montero and cuts from right to left. Basically takes the racing line between the apexes, and I'm not sure where Montero vanished to there. I thought he was going to be a little bit alongside, but clearly he got it all wrong into the first turn. Vallant had plenty of space to get through between 2 and 3. I suppose once Vallant was down the inside in turn 2, Montero had nowhere really to defend, did he?
No, it is for last place, but it's nice to see they're racing all the way through. And Hugo must be really kicking himself for that start. But as you say, at least he's still got the car in one piece.
And at least he's still got pole for race 2. So that was going to be the focus, wasn't it? Always, when he got that P10 in qualifying this morning, it was always going to be more about race 2 than race 1. Race 1, do what you can and pick up no damage. Race 2, start on pole.
Bernani past Katzberg.
Don't know. Let's have a look here at the Chevy turning inside the Honda. Saw that view there, and look at that. That's as close as you like. I have a feeling that Montero must have given him the room there, knowing that otherwise the option was he'd be sitting at the side of the track with broken suspension as well. Lopez Muller-Loeb. That's just going to serve to extend the championship out a little further. Katzberg still 4th. Bernani, though, steaming down the straight behind him. So Katzberg coming onto the straight, just sort of in the middle of the road rather than moving straight across the racing line, just to try and contain Bernani's Citroen a little.
Yeah, just to take his thought away of actually trying anything.
Nico Lapierre in 6th position, not part of this battle. You can see him just behind the red, white and green Citroen. However, the second Lada driver will pick up any pieces that fall from this particular table. Katzberg getting his head down and charging now. And that's the way, really, for him to shake off Banani, or to try and shake off Banani, is to ignore the green, white and red one behind and concentrate on the white and red and grey sitting in front of him. So it's better to be trying to attack the driver in front than trying to defend against the one behind. Mar got to show de Moustier. He's lining up nicely behind the young Belgian. So, Craft Bamboo car comes out of turn 13 onto the straight. Does this feel as long as it looks when you're on a straight like this length?
You have a lot of time to think, yes, yeah, you really do. It's good to put just offline, where Mar's probably going to go very soon, is a lot of pickup, and you end up with a lot of vibration for a few laps, so he doesn't lose too much of the inside, which is good.
Sends it down the inside, picks up the place.
And a bit of vibration from lockup now, pickup.
So he goes by Grégoire de Moustier for 8th position. Of course, he will start almost last of the Citroens in race 2. So in reverse order on the grid, which means 10th place or thereabouts will be Lopez, depending on who among the damaged cars makes it back out. We know Coronel won't, and he's supposed to be on the front row of the grid. We know Chilton won't, but he was outside the top 10, so that won't have so much an effect. Huff probably will. Tarquini, I think so. Looked like it was more of a football injury than a rugby injury on his car.
Didn't look so bad, so I think he'll be okay.
Maybe the Pride was a little bit more damaged than the car itself. Lopez is gone now, and it's Muller versus Loeb for the best of the Frenchmen. Still no word from Citroën on what future they will pursue, World Rally or World Touring cars. Yves Maton was saying in the middle of the season that they probably had to choose one or the other. I have a feeling that at the moment there'll be an awful lot of car manufacturers that are just sitting very quietly, waiting to see exactly what happens with diesel emissions testing and how far that knocks on before they find out whether they've got any money to spend on anything. John Montero's got by Stefano D'Aste, so the battle for the honour of not being last continues. Of course, the last car on the track, and now, Valente past de Moustier. Moustier right in the middle of the road, making his compatriot work hard for that, and there was a little bump between them. Tom Coronel was saying that with all the added aero on the car now being so much a part of the car's performance, if you make contact and damage it, de Moustier into the pits, by the way, then it's A, easy to do, B, expensive to fix, and C, ruins the car and ruins your race. You can't just buckle a wing a little bit. Nico Lapierre carrying LMP2 style speed into turn 1 and 2, finding out that Malada wasn't quite born with the aero that the P2 car is.
Lopez was 7 tenths quicker on that last lap. Van still got Loeb pushing him, so maybe it's he's concentrating more on Loeb than he is Lopez.
Lock up from Banani on his own ahead of this little battle as well. That's always good as well. Even when you're Lapierre trying to hold off Mikulits, if the guy in front on his own is making mistakes and locking up and you can smell his brake smoke, then, or his tyre, then you're always eager to go ahead and attack. Tarquini's car is ready for some investigatory perambulations.
Check laps.
Yep. Go out, make sure nothing falls off. Try not to run side by side with anybody, Gabrielli. Stefano D'Aste getting left way out the back of the pack here. No upgrades on his car. I'm afraid his budget makes a shoestring look quite healthy, so no engine upgrades, no aero upgrades, no suspension upgrades for him. I was bothered as it was at the beginning of the season, probably as it was at the beginning of last season.
Mar has his next 2 targets in place.
Yes, doesn't he? and making short work of Demoustier under braking. Not sure those tyres are going to be much good for anything else after the end of the race, but they will have done their job by that stage.
He's done that 2 laps in a row. He could do with a check of the balance, but he's still working.
Interesting there from the onboard, you saw that he was in fact using either his own or somebody else's black marks down into there. So the more he outbrakes other people there, the more he cleans it up for himself. A bit like Schumacher used to do, running off line 2. Surreptitiously clean up the bit of track he was planning to use to pass somebody later on in a race. Nico Lapierre still hanging on to 6th position, ahead of Norby and Ma. Seems to be a little bit repelled by the curving there, mid-corner. And you can hear even the Citroën drivers not been able to really go after the throttle because the torque of the engine is just going to create too much understeer. Jose Maria Lopez, our race leader here in Shanghai, on lap 11 of 16. On board with Hungary's Norbert Mikulis, chasing Nico Lapierre. Towards the 68 of Armuller and 9 Sebastian Loeb, and trying to leapfrog down the queue is Martin Guar. However, as soon as he pulled out, Norbert Mikulis in front of him was already trying to get by Nico Lapierre. There was nowhere to go there. Mar tucked back in to wait another lap. Once you get into this final element of the track, from here on in, almost until you get out of turn 10, not really anywhere you can get by, although Hugo Vallant would argue that.
Yeah, it's quite easy to force somebody into a mistake into turn 1, 2 and 3, so just showing you know sometimes can force that.
And Ma, sorry, got in very hot behind Norby there. I thought he was going to run into the back of Mikulis's Honda.
I think he thought the same.
However, you can see how much turn-in and traction the Citroën has got there, all over the back of the Honda in the twisty stuff. Ooh, and he's round the outside of Lapierre. Norby's sticking his nose in and trying to stay there. Long right-hander means that he was out of luck. As he come out of turn 10 and onto the short back straight, Lapierre remains in 6th position. And whatever he doesn't know about a front-wheel drive touring car, Lapierre does know a little bit about racing. Oh, Ma again.
Really struggling with brakes.
Yeah, or distance, or something. Oh, dear. Downshift. Yeah, that's why it wasn't slowing down, because it's not changing down the gears, and without engine braking, part of your retardation is left.
Clutch, yeah.
And that might explain why he didn't start well. And this is as near to Norby, probably, as it was in the first turn a lap ago as well. At the beginning of the lap, wasn't it? It was this lap. So, had that clutch problem with his car in the Slovakia ring. Citroën said, yes, it's all fixed, it'll be fine. He was starting on the front row of the grid, second row of the grid, 4th place, I think, on the race 2 grid. Of course, it wasn't fine, he didn't move at all, and it was nearly a massive pile-up.
So he could have burnt out his clutch on the start, and it's just shattered now.
Yeah.
But it gives Norby a clear track behind now to focus on making up a position.
Yeah, and that moves Hugo Vallant and Thiago Monteiro up the order. That now puts them into 8th and 9th. 9th, not something that Thiago was probably thinking about when he was back in 16th. Stationary rear wheel there of Vallant's car as it picks up in the corner. And it transferring to the front of the car, just as it does in every other road car, every other racing car as well. the back of Lapierre's car.
You saw it fall off in under the safety car, but
I imagine it was somewhere in the corner 2-3 biffing. Got a little touch from somebody. Ma in the pits. And I'm not sure that that's going to play very well.
they're rally boys, so if anybody can do it, these guys can.
See now, if that had happened at the first start and they'd had 16 laps plus safety car time to fix it, possibly, now they've got 3 laps and then it's into Parc Fermé, or he's at the back of the grid for race 2. I think if they get him to the back of the grid for race 2, they'll have done a stunning job, unless it's a very simple electrical fix in some way, and I don't see that being the case with the clutch.
It didn't sound electrical, did it?
No. No, I'm not sure what electrical system that you use for activating a clutch could disengage it the way a broken clutch sounds disengaged. I don't think you need to go very far to guess what he's thinking. I think he's thinking that is the end of his weekend racing in China. Very happy on Friday and Saturday, faster than anybody else, including his illustrious teammates. Sunday, not quite as thrilled to lose out on pole to Jose Maria Lopez. However, like Tom Chilton and Tom Coronel's day, it's taken a severe nosedive since qualifying. Thiago Montero still pushing on behind Hugo Ballon. Better than Knight.
His car does look better than Hugo's at the moment. He's able to turn in tighter and
now again you see Thiago with work to do and Valence with work to do in race 2 might have different tyre combinations on the car. Hugo might have just kept the very best he's possibly got for race 2 and made the best of what's left for race 1, because frankly race 1 was a bit of a throwaway anyway. On the grid, okay, you know, any positions you can make up are always welcome, but you're going to try and stack the deck for race 2, aren't you? Thiago down the inside.
You've seen it?
Yeah. Absolutely very straightforward, then bumps over the curb at the apex and costs himself about half of the advantage he gained under braking. Katzberg not going to catch Loeb, that was evident from about, well, lap 6 or 7 when we started racing, but pulling away from Bernardi all the way. Bernardi the lead independent, Norbert Mikulits there in 2nd in the independents, and Hugo Ballon here in 3rd in the independents. Thiago got by the Chevrolet, but has yet to really escape him. Stefano D'Aste is the Lanterne Rouge at the moment at the back of the pack. However, unlike the 3rd in the field, he is still going. Ma is out, de Moustier is out, Tarquini is out, Huff is out, Tom Chilton is out, John Philippi is out, Tom Coronel is out. 1 retirement from the Japanese Grand Prix, and yet the ostensibly more sensible and reliable touring car races, almost half the field has gone out. Only one was, I don't know what was de Moustier's problem, do we? But certainly, as far as we're aware, only Mars was mechanical.
Yeah, Hugo passed him, didn't he? And on the exit they touched, so I don't know whether it was a front track, but it wasn't a big touch.
Well, he got a clout off Coronel when he was being spun.
Yep.
And then a clout off Coronel that took the back off Coronel's car. So whether there's a legacy in there remains to be seen. On lap 15 of 16, Jose Maria Lopez. He's out. That's clear. But the battle behind, Ivar Muller holding off Sebastian Loeb. Not sure that Loeb's given anything up yet. Last lap for Lopez and for Muller and Loeb. Katzberg, the yellow larder, in 4th place ahead of Mehdi Bennani. Bennani, top independent in the Sebastian Loeb Racing Run Citroën. Nico Lapierre holding off Norbert Mikulis. This is really what Lapierre needs to get to learn the car, isn't it? Plenty of time out on track.
Yeah, he's been pressured the whole way around. He's not giving in like some of the other guys. He's a world-class driver, so he knows what he's doing, but it's never easy in a front-wheel drive car with tyres disappearing away from you very quickly.
And that pesky Hungarian right behind, Norby, is very insistent. I'm sure he feels he's got the car to get by. He's just going to somehow engineer the opportunity. And Lapierre may not know the car, but he knows what he's doing around here. Winner here in 2006 in A1GP for Team France. Races, he will feel he's probably worked as hard around here in a touring car as he did in an A1GP car. Physically, it might be a little bit less demanding in terms of G-forces and so on. But at least in those days, A1GP, big fast single-seaters was what he knew. This is very definitely not what he knows.
The noise of Lopez's car.
No, it's not. Lopez comes out of the final corner and the checkered flag waits, and it is victory for Jose Maria Lopez as he wins in Shanghai a Citroën 1-2-3. Great result for Nick Katzberg, 4th position. I'm sure that's his best result, and Norby gets by Lapierre at the hairpin last time round. So Benani in 5th, Mikulic in 6th position, Lapierre 7th, and then Thiago Monteiro, Hugo Vallant and Stefano D'Aste will be the final finishers. Marco Calovolo writing down whatever the Italian for is, damn, he got us in the final hairpin. But a good race from Nico Lapierre, good race from Jose Maria Lopez, as you'd expect from pole position. On his 5th pole of the season, he adds his 8th race win. So 8 wins for Lopez, 4 so far for Muller, 3 for Loeb, 2 for Monteiro, and 1 apiece for Mar and Mikulic. Races in the championship, and Lopez with 8 victories so far. Little string of results where he wasn't on the top step of the podium for 6 consecutive races. Could have put him off, didn't. As Coronel's car comes back in to be packed up, ready to go to Thailand. Happy race winner Jose Maria Lopez, and with a 1-2-3 for Citroën Racing, Citroën Total Racing have sealed the Manufacturers' Championship title for 2015. Citroën Racing boss Yves Maton going to offer his congratulations. Xavier, the engineering director of the team, there as well. So job done as far as Citroën are concerned. It is about winning the Manufacturers' Championship. It's about being able to put those World Touring Car Champion stickers on the back of every C-Elysée that they sell. Alex Legui is down there to talk to our race winner. So let's hear what Pachito has to say.
Well, a very, very dramatic race in the World Touring Car Championship here in Shanghai, but it was won by this gentleman here, no stranger to top spot. Not only that, but of course Citroën wins the manufacturer's title.
Congratulations to everybody in Satori who is not here, everybody who is involved on this. Citroën has been dominating for 2 years. They deserve this. They are a great team, one of the best I ever been. So very proud of it. Part of this group, or part of these drivers. Congratulations to all of them, because everybody is part of this, the drivers and everyone. So very happy for Citroën, and of course very happy for my victory.
You have certainly represented them extraordinarily well, and it's through a lot of your efforts. Talk us through that race for you. Were you aware of the drama behind you?
No, I just was trying to do my race. You know, there is too many things to think about it. the tire degradation, we knew the tires were suffering a lot here. Heat is quite a lot. So I was trying to do my best, you know. I knew Ivan was second, of course. I knew Seb was third. I knew Ma had some problems, but you know, I was trying to do my race.
Fingers crossed then for race 2.
Thank you very much.
Well, when you start from pole and you lead into the first turn, your eyes are fixed firmly in front of you rather than the mirrors, aren't they? So I'm sure actually that those that were involved want to see video to try and figure out where the various pinballs came at them from. So round 19, chaotic start in Shanghai. The man who started at the very front of the field, Chinese Dragon, didn't bring his teammate much luck, but it did bring him a race win. The irony there is that most of the drivers you just saw didn't finish the race. Ma, maybe the writing was on the wall at the beginning. Dreadful start from him. Carnage between turns 2 and 3. Cost us both Royal Motorsport cars. Cost us Rob Huff, cost us Gabriele Tarquini. Jean-Philippe was out of the race early on. Will probably take part in race 2. Gregoire de Moustier likewise made a pit call for damage. And out of position after qualifying. A couple of drivers had a lot of work to do. Thiago Monteiro and Norbert Mikulich. Monteiro in the end moving himself up to 8th position. And we wait to see which of the damaged cars returns to the race 2 grid to find out. Thiago may actually end up starting race 2 in around 8th position. There's just not quite as many cars fit to go back out as you would hope for. Background behind the Benani flag, you can see Norbert Mikulich giving Alex Chapman verse of what happened in his race as we get ready to see the drivers coming out onto the podium. Benani was rushing to get the flag off his dad, because he will be on the podium. His dad chatting with Norby. Mehdi will be on the podium, of course, as the top Yokohama independent. Third place goes to Sebastian Loeb, second to Ivan Muller. And of course, they will put all the, yes, fantastic for the team to have the championship smile faces on, because of course that is part of their job and it's part of why they're with Citroën. Vuitton out with the world champion flag as well. And they could pretty much easily have produced those at the beginning of the season and taken them to every race. Mehdi Benani doesn't yet have a world champion flag, so he's got the Moroccan flag instead.
Congratulations to Pachito Lopez.
The Argentine anthem for our winning driver, French anthem for our championship and race-winning manufacturers, Citroën Racing. So well done indeed to Citroën, as if the championship was ever very much in doubt. But they have done a superb job, put together a really impressive package of car and drivers. Director Yves Maton rightly looking very happy with himself. Job done, another box ticked, Another championship won. He will win the driver's title as well, no matter what else happens.
And presenting the winner's trophy to Jose Maria Lopez.
This leaves Mehdi Banani as our Yokohama Trophy winner.
Deputy Secretary of the Federation Automobile Sport of China, presenting the trophy for the winning manufacturer to Citroën Racing's Yves Maton. Yves Maton also receives a winner's garland. And finally, please welcome to the podium Mr. Takehisa Morimoto, the president of the Yokohama Sushi Factory in China, presenting the Yokohama Trophy to the winner, Mehdi Banani.
Not enough winners' garlands in motor racing anymore. We said this at the Nürburgring, where they all got a garland. Of course, everybody does at Goodwood. Garland and a cigar. And there should be a little bit more of that. Winners' garlands are a very good thing indeed. It takes you right back to the beginnings of motor racing. The laurel wreath, of course, was a mark of respect to a champion dating back to classical times, ancient Rome and ancient Greece. Jose Maria Lopez, our race winner, continues to extend his championship advantage. 78 plus 7 is 85 points now ahead of Ivan Muller. Because he picks up another 25 points to 18 of Muller. And Muller's advantage over Sebastian Loeb goes out as well. Further 3 points from 24 to 27. So with a total of 10 healthy cars making it to the flag, we expect to see John Philippi back out on the race 2 grid, and Gabriele Tarquini and Gregoire de Moustier, so that should be a further 3. Marchingnois, not sure, don't think we're going to see him. Citroën confirmed then they cannot now be caught for the Manufacturers' Championship. Honda and Lada in 2nd and 3rd position. So congratulations to Citroën Turtle Sport, the 2015 champions.